Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for the last time of this season with 2S ACC Season 7, and it is the championship deciding race. We are here at the Nurburgring with a grid of 32 drivers and a commentary booth of the same two men you've been listening to for the past races. It is me, Timo, and alongside me is John as always. Hello.
Hey Timo, yeah, this is it. After today, the championship is over. Right now, we have 3 people really able to finish as the champion of this season. We have George Brabner, Chris Wikowski, and Janne Salminen. And right now, everything is more in George's favor. As long as he gets a good finish, he's basically got it. If he can get a really, really good qualifying position right now, he's qualified in pole, which is exactly what he wants to see. But Salminen and Witkowski right behind him. So depending on the start, if one of them can get a much better start for the race, then they can definitely still be in contention for the championship, especially Chris.
Yep.
If Chris gets P1 and let's say George finishes P4 or lower and Giannis finishes P2 or lower, then Chris will still win.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different statistics based on if this setup this person wins, this setup this person wins. But yeah,
we'll be updating you throughout the race as that goes,
definitely.
Of course. And yeah, I mean, basically this the situation of the entire championship has been really interesting. Going into this, George has been our season 6 champion, and he won that with a considerable gap to Chris Witkowski. And then in this season, of course, he went in as the favorite. He's still in his Bentley that he dragged to the title last time out as well. And, at the start of the season, Janne Salminen had suddenly just absolutely stepped up his game. And we thought, okay, this is gonna be the rivalry for the title. And then, there were a few incidents. Alton Park, the sprint race happened. They collided. The race after, Janne Salminen messed up qualifying and then crashed out Antoine Oliver in such a violent way that he was given a qualifying ban. And basically from there on, it was all, fighting from a low ground. We thought, okay, George now has this in the bag. It's only an 8-round championship. Jan has made too many blunders. He is completely out of it. And then, over the past few races, slowly emerging has been Chris Witkowski, who was... he had a slow start, but now he's strung together some good results, and suddenly he has shown up, and as it goes now, this championship looks completely open. We're still a solid high ground for George, but I'm just absolutely excited to see how it's gonna go down. We've got 7 minutes to go in the session. George sitting atop the timing boards with a 53.3, which is a pretty good time. Chris Witkowski, 7/10 down from that, and he's not gonna beat George with this lap. I think unless he gains a lot of time, he's actually gonna get close, according to my delta. Rounds the final corner, gonna come across the line. Where is he gonna be? Can he beat George for now? He can't by half a tenth.
Yeah, with the heartbreak for Chris Witkowski in Laguna Seca and the disconnects that he was getting, as people who watched that race know, George Brabner did not attend. He couldn't make it. So that was an amazing opportunity for Chris to get ahead in the championship. And he was leading for the first race when he disconnected. And then it was a sprint weekend, so it was 2 short races, and for the second race, the game actually put him at the back, and then he disconnected again. So just very terrible luck for Chris on that week. But now we're back, and he still has a chance to get that championship from George.
Yeah, Laguna Seca certainly was something. I mean, Salmon had to miss a race pretty early on, and then that race, George couldn't attend, and that was a big shock. But then Chris being taken out like that with the connection issues, it kind of felt like a bit of justice, just because George wasn't able to make it. But of course, you don't want to see a driver lose a race to a disconnect, and it also made the championship effectively like one race short. It's only 7 races, and Chris has been, the catching guy. He's been the hunter, and George has been the prey for the past rounds. And now with that Laguna Seca race basically not mattering at all, he could just run out of rounds to do it. He has to put up a good performance today. The way that Chris wins this is that he needs to win, and then George has to finish 4th or lower, and that's that. So basically, George is fine if he finishes behind Witkowski and Salmon, and just if one more guy, like for example Van den Hudding, manages to show up, then George is in trouble, and that's gonna be the spice of this race. 5 minutes to go. Salmon and Witkowski, Brabner, the 3 at the top.
And looking at silver class, we have Ben Luce and Schmelt leading in P5 and P6, and then we have Chikeka down in 14th. So that's also going to be they're Luce and Schmelt are pretty high up in the order right now, which is pretty cool to see. And then we have quite a group of silver class a little bit further back with Jejura, Noppen, Kessel, and Osterholm.
Yeah, this is certainly one hell of an application to Pro Class going forward into Season 8, which of course, I mean, the details aren't out there yet, but just, the history of this championship makes me think that we'll probably take like 2 or 3 weeks off, or probably 2 weeks or something, and then we will launch into Season 8 with new signups, everyone with a clean slate, and new standings, and then everyone can go for the championship again, and maybe we'll be able to see Ben Loos, Jesper Smelt compete for Pro Class as well. That is interesting that they are this close to the front.
Definitely, and we also see, I think Jurien Visser's the one that usually doesn't like qualifying, right?
Yes, it is, and it is Dragon on Discord.
We do see him right now on the track, just putting a few laps in. 3 minutes left to go.
Very interesting. I mean, he is in a championship fight as well, of course, that we can mention before the final shootout in Pro Class happens. So Jurien is at the moment leading Silver Class, and if he finishes first, then he just wins the championship. That's how leading the championship coming into the final round, of course, works. Essentially, he has to finish 3rd or lower for Bas Kessel to win the championship. So if he gets 2nd in Silver Class, then he's probably fine. First, he's obviously fine. That's the situation for him, but Bas Kessel can still win it. Ben Loos can still win it, but he needs some more weird stuff to happen. And Ryan Noppen also technically still in it, just like Janne Salminen is in Pro Class. He can still win it too, but it's not looking likely. Of course, Salmonen's path to victory, I don't think we've specifically said it. It's very fast to go through all the scenarios because there is only one, and that is he needs to win. George needs to not score a point. No, George needs to score 1 point at most, and Chris needs to finish 7th or lower. In this very specific scenario, Janne Salminen, the guy in the Finnish flag of the Bentley livery, could be our Season 7 champion.
And we can't take any predictions out the window, because that could very well happen, as we've seen in other races. Some crazy stuff has happened. And just real quick, I also wanted to touch note on another driver that we've seen good performance this season, Gareth Higgins. He couldn't really find his mojo at Laguna Seca, but let me tell you, Monza, that was I think that was an incredible performance. He was fighting with George Brabner for the win, and he did an incredible job.
Absolutely. I mean, it's interesting to see if a driver is really good at some tracks and then not quite there on others, because then I feel like it's just probably a familiarity problem. But if you can be like at the front, hanging with guys like Chris Witkowski, Ruben van den Hudding, or you know, George Brabner, of course, if you can hang with those guys on one track, I don't think it's a coincidence. Like, you have the potential, you probably just need to figure it out. And Higgsy, as he is referred to on Discord, has, with that Monza race, shown us that he has the potential. He's not delivering on every track, but maybe if next season he starts on even points with everyone else, you know, the motivation might kick in and he might just give it his everything and gun for a challenge at the front. So now the times are ticking down. The clock is 40 seconds from zero, and then we will see the checkered flag in qualifying. Loos, Miclea, and Van den Hudding have all abandoned their runs, which means Van den Hudding will probably not be there to help his Trigon Racing teammate Chris Witkowski at the front with this championship. So it looks like Chris is gonna be on his own. But yeah, George gonna finish this run. He might improve by a 10th, and then he likely will cross the line in time to have another go at it.
And just real quick, Timo, we're getting some messages saying that our microphones are a little bit, that mine's quieter and yours is a bit louder.
Okay, thanks for letting us know. I will fix that. Should I just turn you up, myself down?
Good question.
Well, I'll figure it out. I'm gonna turn you up a little bit, and I'm gonna... Yeah. Great, thanks for the feedback. Of course, you know, we rely on that to make any sorts of adjustments, but now George has put in his final run, and I think it might just be enough for pole, actually, as Chris Witkowski and Janne Salmonen both are not up on their times according to my broadcasting client. Both of them close, but likely not able to find the 2/10ths that George has pulled on them, as Chris absolutely hops over this chicane, and he runs completely into the grass. And also Salmon are not able to improve, so George Brabner, our reigning champion, our championship leader, is able to put it on the top spot. Sam Chumley, I don't think, can take this out of nowhere. He does not think so either, and heads into the pit lane. He's going to be happy with P4, I imagine. But yeah, those top three, they know they are in a championship fight, and it looks like they've come extra prepared because they hard-gapped the grid with 6/10ths between Chumley and Brabner.
Yeah, you always, you know, elbows out. This is the last race, and you know you got nothing to lose. Well, you do, but you're not going to leave anything on the table, and you're going to throw everything you can at it.
Yep.
As we see the final cars crossing the finish line to finish up qualifying for the last race of the season.
Yeah, Ben Loos, as expected, well, not coming into this, but after just seeing his first runs and the lap times he's been putting in, has taken pole position silver class, of course. For those unfamiliar, the way it works, you know, silver class, the guys whose driver numbers on the timing tower have the great background. You know, they have their own little standings, and Ben Loos, of course, has performed the best, so he's basically in silver class pole. Then it's Jasper Smelt, who is in P9 overall, and then Ryan Noppen, P14. So Loos, probably the favorite, but we don't know what's gonna happen. We haven't really seen him race at the very front. Let's go for a little bit of a grid walk, though, shall we? I'm gonna get up the championship standings for myself, so you know, I'm informed on where everyone is standing right now, and then we're good to go.
We have quite the grid today, too. I think over 30 drivers. Yeah,
it's really good to see. Like, the health of this championship has just been crazy this season. Like, this has undoubtedly been the best season we've had so far. You know, we've had our past moments where we've been struggling a little bit and never really quite managed to get 30 drivers. But and you know, we've been at like 20, and now we've just like half the races had more than 30. It's been really great to see. And now George Brabner, season 6 champion, been there from the start, is looking to put himself alongside Alexander Carsten as a 2-time AC champion. Then Chris Witkowski, the main challenger for the second season, running in second, ahead of Janne Salmonen, who's miraculously bounced back after a real-life injury, come back into sim racing and completely smashed everyone. He's third now. Sam Chumley fourth, and Ben Loos overperforming massively for silver class. Andre Miclea, a race winner this season. He's won the first sprint at Alton Park after the crash between Salminen and Brabner is in 6th. Then Ruben van den Herding can't help his teammate today, but Antoine Olivet can't help his teammate either. They are the teammates of Brabner and Witkowski. They are in 7th and 8th. Jasper Smelt in the Lexus is 9th out of Nico Veldman in his race taxi, the yellow Mercedes. And Philip Ansel, our resident Swede, in P11 ahead of Gareth Higgins. In 12th, then Bailey Thompson, reserve driver in the McLaren, is ahead of Ryan Noppen, who could still win the championship in silver class, ahead of the current silver class leader, Jurien Visser, who's actually bothered to qualify, so that's nice to see. Then Kennedy Chikeka, good performance, 16th. Hubert Jejura in 17th on an upward trajectory as well. Jonat Buzila is in P18, then Bas Kessel in P19 in the Lexus. Giacolli, teammate to Ben Loos, is 20th. Mikael Osterholm in the Ferrari on your left. Then Olli Stricker in the Bentley is 22nd. Döring, I believe, is a new face. Philip Döring, don't think I've seen him before. Ahead of Karol Chmielewski, Federico Varagnolo, Marvin delivery. It's a running gag by now. Marvin Betch out of Andrew Moulton, who is trying to compete on the livery front. Jacob Lawton, Michael Reinoa, Forrest McCormack, Christian Stricker with a qualifying ban, Nils Krüger with a qualifying ban. 2 seconds to go. Just about finished the grid walk. Too many drivers, my god. We're gonna... Oh, I'm gonna record a mixtape. It's just gonna be a rap beat and then me doing the grid walk. So, yeah, our last formation lap of the season. Nurburgring. Historic racetrack. Not really known for GT World Challenge, mainly known for the Nordschleife. But, but still, an amazing track. And one where overtaking is tough, but possible. I think that's my favorite race this season. I say it a lot.
Yeah, and you know that's fairly common for a good amount of the tracks out there. But you know, if overtaking was super easy, I feel like it wouldn't be as interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's its own charm. I mean, that's just a discussion of what everyone prefers. I mean, F1 of course has the very, you know, methodical racing where, you know, you have the DRS and you have the ERS, so there's ways to just get past someone on a straight. And it's... Oh, the cone. And it's, you know, there's ways to get past someone just on strategy. That's mainly how that race plays out. And GT3 is basically, like, the opposite. Like, it's just... You know, if... no, the analogy doesn't work, but it's like combat, honestly. Like, they rub their doors against each other, they bang wheels, and it's that sort of racing where it's honestly a contact sport. In F1, you know, your car just disintegrates. But
yeah,
GT3 racing, not so much. Depends what you like more, but this certainly has a charm, and it's gonna show it in the next hour.
F1, you touch someone and you get a 5-second time penalty.
I mean, you do here as well, because we do stewards. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's because in F1 the guy is in the gravel trap after you touch him. And here not so much. Especially those Bentleys. Try shoving that monster off the track. Someone is gonna do it today, I'm sure, but we'll hope not. You know, the driving standards I mean, they are ever improving. I feel like even Silver Class is giving us some really brutal but clean and fair fights. Mostly as George. You're not warming your tires by, you know, getting some grass on them. That's not how that works. Yeah, Silver Class has also been impressive. I mean, it's been known as a little bit of a Thunderdome in the past, but this season really stepped its game up, and it's always delivered when Pro Class hasn't. So, George
We're on
Brabner.
back straight right now.
Yep. George Brabner, 246 points. Chris Witkowski, what did I say? 246. Chris Witkowski, 229. 17-point gap. And, yeah, I mean, Chris has come back with... He's won the last races that he hasn't disconnected from. I mean, he's won Barcelona, and before that he's won Misano. So he's on a roll. Could make it 3 in a row for himself. But it wouldn't be enough for the championship unless George finishes 4th. around the final corner. And... my god, everyone's going around the final corner. Where is the line? And who is gonna take it into turn 1? We've got George Brabner in the Bentley and a drive-through for Bailey Thompson as we go green for the final time in Germany this season, as George Brabner already fully has his car ahead. Chris Witkowski, who's now gonna look to the inside, but that one is blocked. Jannis Salmonen in the background trying to find space. Andre McClare with a massive lunge and he goes into Chris. He's gonna spin round. Sam Chumley gets pushed wide on the exit by Chris Witkowski, but I think everyone's through relatively unscathed actually. So that was a massive send there and a shock moment for Jannis Salmonen and Chris Witkowski, but they're both still there and they can both still pursue Brabner, and that's it for Salmonen as he gets punted round and we get massive carnage in turn 3. The field tries to go through without T-boning any park cars, but Salmonen to the back and his championship challenge is surely over, but George Brabner and Chris Witkowski are gonna run away at the front ahead of, oh my god, that's not what I wanted to show, ahead of Samuel Chumley and then Andre McClare. Also Ben Lewis got through.
Yeah, I saw Ollie Stricker getting taken out, or was that Salmonen? We got, oh yeah.
Yeah, the timings just need to sort themselves out as usual in ACC, and then we can give you the full picture of what just happened, because it looked so good for the first 2 turns, and then in the third one, you know, sometimes you can't really go 3 wide there. You have to sometimes yield. Chris Witkowski right behind Brabner, and this is bad for him because with Salmonen there was a chance that George was, you know, just gonna finish third, and then maybe one more guy can step up and then Chris wins the title. But if they're gonna be isolated at the front, George is honestly completely fine. 37 is off as well. Who's that? That is Bailey Thompson. Yeah.
Yep. And Jack Hawley also in the back, and unfortunately it looks like Jasper Smelt is out of the race.
Yep, he has headed into the pit lane for retirement. Forrest McCormack clobbering a curb. There's Chris Stricker from his quali ban in the Danish Bentley. Tries to get the move done and does so. Now he's gonna chase Pixel into turn 1. Also, almost. Yeah, is someone going out the front?
No, just Brabner and Witkowski just slowly getting a gap between them and the rest of the pack, but they're staying together pretty well. I think that dive into Chumley really shook up Witkowski and slowed him down initially, but he's starting to get pace back and he's right up behind Brabner again.
As we're watching some really good fighting unfold as Andrew Moulton temporarily gains 2 places on Michael Osterholm in the Ferrari and the Lexus of Niels Krüger, and then he loses them again. Andrew Moulton, of course, is the beautiful pink pink McLaren. I mean, I know he's friends with a Betch, so the livery completely makes sense. But yeah.
Yeah, there we got a massive train of cars right now, just one after the other after the other.
Yeah, just
Oh, Kruger going off. I don't know what happened there, if that was a lockup or something. Just kept going straight through the corner.
Gonna look at the replay as that is... Actually, I don't know the corner names, which is bad, because I could flex with the pronunciation, but is it like the Dunlop hairpin or something? It doesn't look like a hairpin, but I think... Oh my god, I think it's called that. He just broke himself and avoided running into the back of Osterholm by just steering out of the corner into the gravel, and I respect that. You know, that's damage limitation, as we go back to the
definitely.
live feed. And let's see a status update. What happened in silver class? Because Ben Lewis lost some positions, but he's through the drama. He's still leading silver, and then it's Noppen in P9 or P2, and then Jejura got a really good one. So he is third in class, 10th overall, just ahead of Antoine Olivet, teammate to George Brabner. Olivet dives to the inside. I think he's just gonna get that one done. Jejura holding on to the outside a little bit, but he knows when the fight is lost. Yuri and Visser lurking. They're both silver class, so Visser needs to try and get the move on Jejura if he can catch him off guard.
And at the same time, Ruben van Hutting just trying his hardest to get past McClay. Tried several times, but was denied by McClay, and he's just staying right up behind him. I think we're going to see another attempted move soon enough to try to get Van de Hutting up into P4.
Yeah, he's been so incredibly fast at some of the past races. He's won. He's took a win at, or he's taken a win at Laguna Seca, and he has delivered massive pace together with his teammate last time out in Barcelona. Was right there to assist his teammate in the quest for the championship, and now at the Nurburgring, he isn't there when his teammate needs him most. He could still get himself there though. McClare and Charmley right now in the way of that, and then Ruben might just also be able to contribute to this. Right now though, the Bentley, as you say, is being a little bit of a roadblock.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely shouldn't let Ruben pass, but he's doing a great job at I'm sure annoying Ruben Van Hutting. Oh, going a little bit wide there too. Hopefully, we'll see a little bit of action that might have compromised his exit. And Ruben is very close to him on the straight. He's gonna get a tow.
Oh,
Although it looks like it's
The straight isn't really too long. It's got a hard braking zone, so if you have the grip advantage or something, you can use it for massive sense. But I don't. The run just wasn't good enough. So McClare in the purple Bentley, staying in 4th for now. Also Chumley running a good race. He's 3rd. He's avoided the drama up front, and might be on course for podium. Oh, Jejura on the in a fight. Oh, Higgins is gonna spin. Higgins is gonna... No, oh my god, he caught it somehow. But, so Kessel's just made his way past Jejura there. As Jejura loses loads of places. Now Higgins tries it as well. Yeah, there must have been a mistake out of Jejura. Otherwise, there's no explanation. He's now hanging in P13. He was 11th earlier on. So it must have been a mistake. Some guy slipped through it. I wish the timing's updated sooner, because it's tough to get a read on what's going on in the race.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of dirt getting kicked up too as people are cutting close into the corners, and soon enough, if they keep that up, we're gonna start seeing warnings and penalties coming up for cutting tracks.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder where do you actually get them? So maybe in not in the Schumachers. You don't get a warning for that. You get a new car. After you smash into the wall if you go off there. But the S is after the Schumachers. There you can probably extend for warnings. Then the chicane that we're coming up right now to on board with Ben Loos. You can probably get some warnings there. Maybe if you cut turn 1. So the potential is there. I think they are avoidable, but you never want to be on those 3 warnings and then know that in the extreme case you have to yield. That is not a good feeling, as we're just running double fight with a little bit of a whack to the side of Gareth Higgins. That is opening a door for Oliver Stricker in the purple not Lamborghini, my god. We're at it again. Ollie Stricker, the purple Bentley. So he's trying to take advantage of that. The straight line speed of the Mercedes on point. Oh, massive set! Oh no, Araniolo, what are you doing? You have to brake at some point. That's probably gonna get looked at by the FIA. We do not like to see stuff like that. Now he runs very deep, man. This looks like a bicycle race. There's just like 3 wide, 4 wide. One makes a mistake, he loses 5 places. It's incredible what's going on here, and somehow they're all keeping it on track, even though Robbing is racing right now.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris!
Unfortunately. Oh, Chris Stricker in the background. What was that?
That was going a little wide. We do a bit of trolling. Yeah, he did. They put it on the grass there and just about held on to his Bentley.
Wow. Yeah, but Gareth Higgins and Oliver Stricker, that was just in an unfortunate position with Verniolo coming in to the inside and Ollie basically just getting sandwiched between the two of them.
Yeah, I think Varaniolo probably just underestimated the amount of... he underestimated the amount of braking space he would need with like 3 cars going into the corner ahead in battle with each other. Then you just have to put it on the brakes a significant amount earlier. He probably didn't do that. Might have just broken at his normal point, and then you send it like that. But in the end, everything turned out fine. so not too much of a worry. And it's already been pointed out in chat, but I just wanted to give it a little bit of time to see if that is the trend. But it does look like George Bradner is pulling on Witkowski, so he has seen, you know, his downwards trend in the championship over the past races, and it appears he can show up. He can just press the button and show up when it really matters, and it has never mattered more than in this race, in this championship decider with Chris Witkowski.
Yeah, at this point, as long as George doesn't make any mistakes, and he can keep it clean, but also keep it consistent and precise, this championship is just going to be decided. But if Chris can close that gap and force mistakes out of George, it could be very spicy, especially if we see some back marker action coming along later.
Yeah, the bottling rarely happens for George, though. That is always the thing you have to rely on, but George is rarely one to throw it off the road. As I am tempting fate. This will be time-stamped and sent to me like over and over if George crashes out. But I feel safe because I don't think he will. I'm doing it even more.
Yeah, he's
he's done the same thing again. He's certainly gonna get action from the FIA. Just takes out Österholm. Oh, you can't do that. You have to be more careful. That is terrible to see. And everyone behind is now bunched up. Oh no, Österholm has just been thrown into. He's been thrown into a mosh pit of cars. What's going on here? That's the fight for P23, and they are all on it. And they have accepted Österholm as one of their own kind.
As we see a little bit of too wide action going there too.
Yeah, that is Betch on the inside of Lawton and who's that? Jack Colley or Jack Colley, you know, pick a name. And now Colley's gonna look to the inside into the chicane. Now it's really hard to get your braking right for that one. He just gets the position. I don't think Österholm did much in the ways of defending. So that's a nice place again, and it's good to see those guys just fully going at it. I mean, they are probably just racing for the heck of it. Points are P20 upwards, and they are, you know, just having some really good fights right now, and it's a pleasure to see. Batch now on the inside of Österholm into turn one. Also, in the background, I'm kind of blind. I know in the Lamborghini just went off completely, but you know, he's not run into anyone, so that's fine. Oh, someone off track. Who's that? Krüger. It's Krüger. So he has made a mistake as well. Finds himself behind Lawton. It's
I don't remember if we've already mentioned this, but Chikika and Thompson also out of the race as well.
I've not. No, we haven't mentioned that. It's a good catch. So that is, of course, sad to see. I assume Chikika was caught up in the silliness down at turn 3 on the first lap. Oh, I thought Chris made a mistake there.
Yeah, me too.
I thought that was just the moment where he throws it off the road. But, yeah, so Chikika, I assume, was caught up in that silliness. Bailey, he got a jump start, so after that, of course, you would probably retire. He was also crashed on the first lap, so for Bailey, I expected him to retire for a while.
Mm-hmm. As we see the gap between Brabner and Witkowski slowly getting a little bit bigger, and the gap between Witkowski and Chumlee also getting bigger, 5.2 seconds right now, which is quite impressive.
Yeah. Van den Hodding, still not able to get past Miclea. In fact, I wouldn't say that it is because it's tough to overtake. I would say it is because it is tough to go Miclea's pace right now. The gap is 1.3 seconds, and instead of, you know, Miclea, instead of having to look in his mirrors for Ruben, he probably just looks fully ahead at Sam Chumlee, who's currently holding third. So Miclea wants to get that position for sure, and he's closing in.
And someone else who's closing in is Chris Stricker on Gareth Higgins. Very, very close. possibly to make a move down the back straight.
Yep, already 13 positions gained for Chris Stricker. Now, of course, that is a little bit easier than it sounds because there was a massive chaos on the first lap. But also he's a pretty quick driver, you know, he is not where he's supposed to be on the timing tower right now, but with Gareth Higgins he's found himself another pro class driver that is currently a little bit down on his luck. So that one will likely put up the first big fight for Chris on his quest for last to first.
Oh,
and he's got a little bit of a look, and you can't just have a look like that if you do not have some pace, if you do not get the good runs. And I can see Higgins overdriving this a little bit. He was going deep in corners and stuff, so I wouldn't put it past Chris to pass him in the foreseeable future. We'll keep an eye on it for sure.
Definitely. I think Gareth, where he really shines is on the tracks he very much knows, and sometimes he does suffer a bit on tracks he doesn't know. We just see that in his confidence, you know, overdriving or even underdriving. So hopefully he got some laps in at this race, and his consistency is key, as everyone always says. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Knowing the track, usually an advantage. Someone's parked in turn 1. Who is that? Is it Varagnola's pitting. It was a Ferrari.
Yeah, Jujura is also pitting.
It's not Chambly. I don't know. I saw someone parked in turn 1. Maybe I'm just going insane. That's fine.
They're not there right now, so
yeah.
So it's good.
I do not know.
Yeah, so both Varagnolo and Jujura into the pits. I wonder if is it time for a pit stop? I think I feel like this is a bit early, unless they're doing trying to do an extreme.
I feel like I have seen Varagnolo using his front bumper as a little bit of a battering ram. So
that is true.
I would not be surprised if, as a consequence, he's decided to pull into the pits a little bit early. That is likely what he's doing. I don't know.
Yeah, these are definitely not normal pit stops either. They're taking quite some time, and Varagnolo looks like he is done and on his way out of the pits.
Yep. Salmonen, by the way, after that lap 1 drama, he's just pulled into the pits and he's trying to undercut basically the entire field. Did you see?
Varagnolo has a stop and go 30 seconds.
No. Well, you know, you can probably get like a 1.001 ratio for betting that Varagnolo is gonna retire next. I have a feeling that's that's not easy money because you don't have you wouldn't gain much from it, but it is a safe bet. I mean, he's still driving. I might actually be wrong. Good that I don't actually bet on it. He's just letting
stop
people pass.
Stop and go 30 seconds. That is harsh.
Yeah, he's a lap down before the stop go now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't call it harsh. He's been doing some crazy stuff in this race, but
maybe it's a little bit of divine justice. But yeah, I mean, it is completely proportional. I'm sure he gained like at least half a tenth by going into the pits fast. So that's very proportional to lose like a minute of race time for that. I mean, but the thing is, it's the rules, and the rules are so harsh that pushing your luck is like not worth it unless you can 100% reproduce a perfect pit entry. So,
and I think that's to prevent people from eating penalties.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. It's probably just a real life thing. Like about safety. I mean, those pit lanes, they are so crowded. You've got like 50 teams in there. And you don't want anyone to take any chances on anything considering the pit lane, so you just put the speed limit really low, 50 kph, and you just put a ridiculous penalty on it, so you can make sure that that no one is ever gonna do it, and that's that, and then that's the rules of the game, and you have to play to them, and everyone should. Varagnolo in this case failed to do so he's gonna have to pay the price. Gareth Higgins also in the meantime pulls into the pit lane. Buzila also... Oh my, that was dangerous. Don't just like stop right on the pit exit, my boy. I know... Well, see, I would have lost the bet because Buzila is now retiring for stop go 30 before Varagnolo does.
Oh.
What's going on?
No, it's just another stop go 30.
Oh, okay. I thought someone
Jeez.
died.
No, not yet.
Yet?
Although we do see George Brabner 10 laps into the race, 2.5 seconds behind his championship rival, and behind him 6.9 seconds behind Wachowski.
I like the drama on this one, you know. No one has died yet. Anyways, George Brabner.
Attention.
Interesting, of course. But yeah.
But I will say these gaps are just getting bigger and bigger. Sam Chum Lee's now at 7.4, and Chris is 2.3 between him and George Brabner.
Yep. They're flying into the distance. And, I mean, it's a shame for everyone else to see, but it's good to see that our league is capable of producing drivers with that caliber. You know, you don't have to hide if you're going to be driving as fast as this. And it's just going to be interesting to see coming into next season what's going to happen between the two of them, because I think over the second half of the season, they have been, like, dead even on performance. It's just that in the first half, like, basically the first 2 weekends, Chris had... like shocking, I don't know if it was shocking performance or shocking luck, but he's finished like between 4th and 10th for the first 2 weekends in, you know, the 1 hour race and the doubleheader sprinter afterwards. So that was he just started this on the back foot and has fought his way back from there. If next season he can start it right on point, at peace with the car, then I mean, if I was George, I wouldn't want to know what happens, but as a commentator, I really do want to know.
Definitely. And Chris Tricker, still on the back of Doring, fancying a look down the inside on turn 1, but thinking otherwise. I feel like he could have done something there, but he did back out, and, you know, that was just I guess that was a caution thing, making sure he didn't do, you know, something else that we've seen twice in this race. And Renault going very slow.
Yeah, it's lapping, I think.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure. Yeah, he's just respecting the blue flags that we do have, because we don't want anyone from the lower tiers to interfere with the action, really. And yeah, for Chris, it's a game of risk evaluation. As always, that's also one of my favorite phrases, where it's like, if you start last and you know you're fast, you can gain a lot of positions, but you have to be decisive about it. So I wonder if Chris is being a little bit too hesitant, but then of course if you misjudge one of the overtakes, you wipe someone out, you destroy your own race, you destroy their race, you get a penalty. You had the penalty because you got a quali ban. You had the quali ban because you got a penalty, that way around. So is it worth the risk? That's just always the evaluation. So interesting to see that Chris doesn't go for moves like that.
Definitely. Maybe if he had a new engine like we saw yesterday, he can just fly past them on the straights. Yeah.
Maybe maybe he's just learned his lessons from the FIA. He's reformed now, I'm telling you.
Definitely.
I can tell you believe it. Yep. Leclerc, ever so close to Chumley, by the way.
Did you say Leclerc?
Leclerc.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's...
I was gonna say.
Oh, actually, I'm not pretty sure that's...
I thought you said Leclerc, like Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, we're not that big yet. Let's say.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That sounds realistic.
Chris Tricker going to the pits as well.
Pulling the undercut.
And Busilla doing his stop and go 30. Did you see something?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
It was worrying. No, everything's fine. But it was Leclerc. He almost gave us a visual explanation of his team name. Oh my god, Roman spins in the background! Perfect pirouette, but it's gonna lose you a lot of time. That was wonderful! And not good for lap time, so we gotta actually look at the replay because it was this beautiful. Let's see what happened. It's the Schumacher, yes? as you can read on the right. And oh no, he just gets it wrong on entry and then rides a curb you don't want to ride, and that's what happens. Oh, Brabner pulling the trigger. He is in the pit lane. He is covering the undercut by undercutting himself. So now the question becomes, what does Chris respond? Does he think he has the pace in this car to just go a little bit further into the stint? Does he think he just pits this lap, gets new tires, uses the fact that George is going to be a little slower on the outlet because of tire temps and tire pressures, and thinks he can pull the undercut off this way? It's like one of those two options, basically. Let's see what he does in about a minute.
Definitely. Yeah, and we've seen these tactics benefit, and we've seen these tactics have the driver suffer. And, you know, it really just depends on your pace, but, you know, you can't really compare your pace with the other driver down to a T. So a lot of it is just luck with, you know, who's the smartest with their strategy.
Yeah, I know, honestly, I mean, it's just the execution in the end has to... the execution has to be on point as well. Like,
definitely,
you just can't make a mistake. That's also why low tire pressures are dangerous. I mean, we saw how Ruben just spun last lap in the Schumacher. Like, that just happened because he slightly got the entry wrong, and then he was in a place he normally isn't, and then he didn't know that curb unsettles you that way. That can easily happen if you don't have your tire pressures. You run deep, you hit a curb, you die. So need to be careful, but can't be too careful.
Definitely. As we see George right now, about coming out P13. Not too much traffic around him. He's got one ahead and one behind. So I don't think it's going to hinder him too much to try and get some good laps on these new tires.
He's found himself a nice little pocket of air, actually. I mean, it's going to come down how fast he's going to close in on Jack Colley. He's currently 13th. Jack Colley has not pitted yet, so there's no obligation to... Oh my god, George! Oh, it's fine. No excitement. It's fine. But he's gotten it wrong in the Schumacher. That was exactly what I was talking about. He's still on track, though. Didn't lose much time, but that looked dangerous. I made your heart stop for a second there, didn't I?
Yep.
It sounded more dramatic than it was, but he is on edge. Like, there's no chilling on the outlaps, and Chris goes a lap further than George, or yeah, still out.
Okay, there he is. All right, so yeah, George coming up. Just did his first full lap with these new tires, and now is about the time we're going to see everybody else slowly start to come into take their pit stop for the race. Yep,
Colley is now in the pit lane as well, the number 20 McLaren, so that means that George didn't even need to get past on track, because that would have been a way past for Chris. If George has to manually overtake someone on the track, then he can easily lose 2 seconds to Chris, and then Chris can come back at him.
Definitely, and since George did pit, that wouldn't be blue flag rules, that would be racing.
Absolutely. Oh, Pixel! Oh, the pain! No. The pain! Like, I didn't mention him all race, okay? But he seemed like he was having a good one, and he's always the guy who complains or he doesn't complain really, he's more just frustrated that he never seems to be able to get a good race. Like, something always goes wrong, and that something is, well, the stop-go and whatever I've just seen in turn 3. Let's look away, maybe it's just got stage fright or something.
We also have a stopped car, it looks like.
Who?
Let me try and find it.
Chris is in the pit lane.
I think they're back up.
Chris is in the pit lane.
But there was a yellow flag.
Okay. No, yeah, that was Pixel. Pretty sure. Turn 3. But, Yeah, so Miclea and Chumley still with each other, and Miclea is giving me some. He's giving me high blood pressure, honestly. Like, or not, high blood pressure is the wrong word, but like it's very stressing to watch him go into these corners because he's like absolutely on edge. Look at him. Like, if he could just drive through Sam, he would do it, but it's not a thing, unfortunately. But
And I don't know if you just heard this, but I think I had some really weird audio bug. It sounded like exhaust backfire, but it also sounded like a gunshot. And I have nothing else playing on my computer, so that was very strange. It was actually deafening.
I mean, you're the resident American, so what?
That's true.
That is
Could just be my neighbor.
Yeah. Okay, back to less grim matters. Yeah, I mean, we've got 4 still running. Not in the race, without having pitted yet, I mean. And that is Chumley, Miclea, Loos, and Veldman. And I'm surprised...
And Lawton, actually.
Huh?
Oh, he's in the pits.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Lawton. I didn't see him anyways. But yeah, I'm surprised no one out of Miclea and Chumley has pitted yet. They've been Oh, there's the Saint Miclea on the inside. Now he's probably gonna be able to take it. He wrestles with Sam through turn 1. Now he's got the outside line for 2. And that means Sam gets to keep his nose out. It's been a really, really good fight so far. They've somehow managed to not have any bad crash or anything, but it's gonna continue. Miclea should probably just undercut, but he's staying out very long in this race. 28 minutes to go. We're past the halfway mark.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know what's going. I think, does this have a very tricky pit lane entry or something? Because 3 stop and go 30s is very uncommon for us in a race. We usually see only a few, sometimes no penalties in a race, and usually it's just a drive-through.
I mean, I can't say I remember, but I could imagine that it's just a weird one because you go out of the final corner, and so you're kind of still on the accelerator, and then you have to brake like right away again, and maybe there's no proper marker. I don't know. Like, maybe someone's actually taken out the brake marker. That's possible. Oh, not the brake marker, the pit marker.
Yeah.
And then you get that.
That'd be unfortunate.
It's the legendary story that, of course, I'm going to bring up right now. Of Zolder Season 2, where I was fighting Chumley for the win, and but my teammate had unfortunately taken out the pit marker right at the start, and I just broke at the wrong white line, like 50 meters too late. It was great. I did not win, in case anyone was wondering. Oh, Veldman is pitted, and now right out of the pits he's getting attacked by Ruben van den Ouding. Oh, a little bit of a bonk in the braking zone. That was unnecessary, and it puts Veldman onto the gravel. I guess that was a little bit of a misjudgment when it comes to the width of the Ferrari there from Ruben.
And Chris,
which one?
Wachowski, sorry.
Wait, what?
1.5 seconds.
Ahead. No.
Ahead of George, yeah.
Oh my, how did I miss that?
I guess he pit.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it happened, but
yeah,
we missed it. Now we've got a change for the lead, and that is even more exciting. Well, I mean, of course, George is fine. We're finishing second when it comes to the championship, but I'm sure he'll want to win. And he was fast in the first stint. That means he's gonna close in on Chris, and we might be able to get a last fight for the season between our two main competitors. In which go on.
I was just gonna say, I still have 3 people left to pit, and then after that, everyone should be done with their mandatory pit stops.
Oh, Miclea has passed Chumley. Finally, he's done it. It was waiting to happen for about 30 minutes, I would say, and now he's finally pulled it off. So hats off to him, and good driving there. Yeah, so in what will be the fight for the lead between George Brabham and Chris Witkowski, we will, of course, have the weird dynamic that if they collide, you know, like, that would be way worse for George, because, you know, something needs to happen to George for Chris to win the title, but nothing needs to happen to Chris for George to win the title, which means that Chris can be way more elbows out, of course within the racing rules, but he can be way more elbows out than his competitor. He needs to know that. So he's got a little bit of an edge when it comes to the fight for the race win, if not for the championship.
Definitely, and we see Yuri and Visser in P13, very close to. Salmonen in P13, very close to Yuri and Visser. 0.3 seconds, and looks like we're. Oh, he was thinking about it, thinking about diving on the inside, but he thought better of it. And I think we're gonna see some interaction between the two of them soon enough as well.
Yeah, let's actually have a little look at what is going on in Silver Class. We can do that in just a moment as Ben Lewis is finally headed towards the pit lane, and after he comes out we'll have the clear picture of Silver Class with 24 minutes to go. The championship is still yet to be decided, and now we can focus our attention on that. Watch the 87 car, that's the McLaren. Oh, that one has damage. That looks badly damaged. Wonder where he's gonna come out. Where's Visser? I think Visser is passed. Yes, so Lewis is not leading Silver Class, not by a long shot. I thought he was, but no. Let's wait for the timing to sort itself out, and then I'm gonna run through the scenarios. I mean, that basically means that Lewis is not gonna win this title, even though he has put up, well, a brilliant fight considering it's his first season here, and he has just completely knocked it out of the park in qualifying here at the Nurburgring. So, timings, please update. There he goes, he drops down the order. Hello. We'll come back to it in half a minute.
Yeah. But there are a few fights brewing around. We have the fight for P11 and 12, the fight for 14 and 15, and obviously the fight for first and second place as well.
And I believe right now it is Visser's title. For Visser to win the championship, he's currently third in Silver Class. You know, just the way it works, it's Noppen in P1 because he's first Silver Class, then Kessel in P2, and then Visser in P3, and then Lewis in P4. And Visser wins the championship from P3 if Bas Kessel finishes P2 or lower, which he does right now. And if, well, no matter what Ben Lewis or Ryan Noppen do. So right now he would exactly win the title, but if Noppen and Kessel were to trade places, then it would be Kessel who wins the title. So that is the dynamic going on here. Visser is the 28 Bentley that we've been following for the past lap, and Kessel, his rival in the championship, is right ahead of him. Salmonen has also come up to the back of him. Now Salmonen has put himself into the race again just with that almighty undercut. He was last after turn 3, and just on the undercut and making some overtakes, he's now 12th and has to get past the silver guys going.
We see the Stricker twins also battling out this past lap. They are right by each other, and Chris Stricker coming up behind Ollie, not giving him any breathing space at all. And it's two brothers, so I'm sure it's always fun when they two fight. But yeah, very, very, very close.
Yeah, let's hope we don't get the long-awaited movie sequel. What Are You Doing, Step Stricker Part 2? Of course, Monza enjoyers will know what I'm referring to there. They did they did completely crash on the straight there for no reason, honestly, after having a fight, and that was very unnecessary. Let's hope it doesn't happen again. Yeah,
Chris and George having a 2.4 second gap. as Sam Tumley is pitting. So now the only person left to come into the pits is McClee.
And Brabner is, I mean, I just looked at him. It's probably just coincidence, but he's just made a big mistake. Well, big mistake, but he's gotten it all wrong at a turn 1 on the car balance. And honestly, it just feels like someone, you know, took Chris and put him into George's car and the other way around, because they are running with the exact same gap from the first stint, and the pace has basically reversed. Now Chris is faster than George. First stint it was the other way around, 2.5 second gap.
And Chris does have the fresher tires right now, so that could be part of an explanation of that.
Yeah, certainly a possibility on that front. And Kessel is getting hunted down by Visser and Salmonen. Now, Visser knows bad move on Kessel is going to leave him vulnerable to an attack from the number 55 Bentley. And that could be a position loss right away when he is close to gaining one. So he needs to play this carefully, pick his moment, but if he actually managed to get ahead of Kessel on track, then that could be the nail in the coffin of Bas Kessel's championship hopes.
Less than 20 minutes left in the race, and we are still getting a lot of battling around the track. And we have, just, midfield, upper field, we have battling all over the place. This P10, P11, and P12 battle, very interesting. These guys just waiting for a moment. I think Kessel is the most... I think he's the one in the most tense situation right now, because I think he knows if Visser creates a gap, then it's very, very likely that Salmonen is also going to capitalize on that, and it's probably going to be a double overtake.
And also shout out to Noppen and Ansel, who are giving us a spectacular fight for P7 right now, as Philip Ansel tucked into the slipstream of the Bentley, pulls to the inside. Can he nail the braking? And it looks like it is very conservative from him, or maybe it's just Noppen going deep, as I think now Ansel is going to have the nose ahead on the longer ride around the outside of turn 2 at the Nurburgring in the arena section, and he's going to have the Bentley on its inside, needs to respect it. Maybe he is gaining the apex for 4. It looks like he does, and Ansel in the number 48 Ferrari puts himself ahead of the silver class leader, Ryan Noppen, who, had a mathematical chance at the championship, but it looks like it's not going to be enough with Visser and Kessel sitting solidly in P2 and 3, but it doesn't change that this has been a formidable drive from the Bentley so far.
Definitely, and, it's always cool to see these cars go side by side in such a windy part of the track, and the respect that these guys have for each other's races is always great to see.
Yeah, it's such a interesting place at the track for fighting as well, because if you get the nose ahead out of 1, that doesn't mean you're done yet. If the other guy still has corner rights for 2 and 3, they're gonna come back at you, but then they are going to be out the outside for turn 4, so it basically just like every corner makes it so the next corner isn't uncontested, so to speak, if that makes sense. And that's why this arena section actually really interesting for GT3 racing.
Definitely, yeah.
So Antoine Olivet. Now after that move, Noppen has dropped a lot of places. Ranoa off the track there, and Oliver with an absolute certified Alexander Carstensen into the final corner. Our 2-time champion has made that move famous, and now Olivet giving us a little bit of it.
As well, the Stricker brothers also still fighting it out with Chris behind Ollie. Just playing with each other a little bit. I think that's 0.2 seconds behind. I think that's fun to see.
We're back in kindergarten. The Stricker brothers are playing with each other. Let's go.
Yeah, as soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like,
Yeah, that sounds a little bit like playing in... How do you call it in English? Like a sandbox, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, but it is much more serious than that. They are pretending to drive Bentleys. That's very serious. Oh, Ollie had a bad run, and Chris certainly had a thought about it. But I'm good that he had a thought about it and didn't just send it, because that would have ended in disaster. Oh wait, Ruben's ahead of Chumley. How's that happened?
I just noticed that as well. Yeah.
Well, Miclea is into the pit lane now. So we're gonna see after that finally everyone in the right position. But yeah, Ruben is ahead. He spun early on. Did Sam make a mistake, or did Ruben just, get the pace of the century all of a sudden?
That's a good question. But I do remember you saying that Ruben was able to kind of minimize the damage of that spin. It wasn't as catastrophic as it could have been. So maybe he was able to just bring it back from that.
Miclea has dropped the ball massively. He's way behind. He worked so hard to get past Chumley, and now he's way down. And Ruben, I was saying all the time, Ruben isn't there when his teammate needs him the most, and it turns out he is going to finish on... well, he isn't going to, but he is in contention for the podium places, but unfortunately 25 seconds down the road, so it doesn't really matter for the championship. He needed to be there right away to put some pressure on George. Now he's just there in case George spins to pick up the pieces and give his teammate the championship. But of course...
Yeah.
Go on.
I was just, 13 minutes left in the race. It's been a solid 2.3 seconds between George and Chris. I'm curious if George is going to lock down and try and put in some blazing laps to decrease that gap.
Honestly, I feel like he's just going to say, yeah, you can have the trophy. I'm just gonna take the championship. I think that's what he's gonna think. He's been, paranoid is not the right. Whoa, what's going on in the background there? That is Batch and Jejura actually fighting. And I wonder if Jejura can pull a move into turn 1. He's in the McLaren and he dives to the inside. So that one's actually on and he pulls it off. Nicely done. But now goes deep, and I think we're getting another side-by-side moment. This time Jejura not close enough to hang on though. What I was going to say, actually what was I going to say? Oh, I'm not getting to say it because Jejura is just... he just had another strike and just takes the position once more. So... yeah, trading places. It was something about George and the championship and his thought process.
Yeah, it was probably something along the lines of don't risk the war for the battle. When it comes to it, he's here to win the championship. If he can get a solid second place, he doesn't want to risk losing it because Chris is in first. If George wrecks, Chris wins. So
basically, well... we were gonna wait for the timing line, but I think we're at 25 seconds now, and then I don't even think Chris wins if George wrecks, unless it's a big one. But yeah, what I was going to say, he always sounded a little paranoid to say it like that. He was saying that he's just fearful of the turn 1 and maybe being taken out by some car that has way less to lose. He wasn't implying that it would happen intentionally, but he was heavily implying that he was fully aware in case of contact he would be the one who has it all to lose. So that's why I don't even think he would be I don't think he would care to not win this race. He would just be fine with it. He knows the situation in the standings and he'll just cruise home past Chris, and there's nothing Chris can do about it.
Definitely, but I do think Chris is going to be, it's hard coming in second place, but he should definitely be proud of himself. He did an outstanding job this season, and it just, he brought a fight to George, and it's always nice to see people battling to the last race to get the championship.
Absolutely. Still having a hopes for real life there, I'm sure, in F1. But
definitely.
yeah, another championship that's gonna go down to the wire is the silver class one, and it might just get even spicier because if I am seeing that right, P2 and P3, Kessel and Visser right now closing in on Ryan Noppen. Those are the top 3 in the championship, and they're gonna be the top 3 on track for silver class. Well, not very soon, they already are, and they are gonna be together very soon. 2.4 seconds the gap between Noppen and Kessel. It was, I believe, 2.7 just 1 sector ago, so they are undoubtedly closing, and if we get a three-way fight for this, I mean, they're gonna be fireworks.
Definitely. And, 10 minutes left in this race, but this race is not done yet. There's still a lot to happen here, and a lot that can happen, especially with silver class. Silver class is still, especially with the middle of the silver class and the middle of the pro class as well. A lot's still undecided, and there's still a lot of fighting and tussling around.
Yep. I don't think I've said his name a single time this race. Veltman is running in 4th, and he could actually get a podium. I did not see it coming at all. It was coming from 10th, and I think he overtook Ruben when Ruben spun. Now Ruben has gotten back at him, and Veltman is still there, and he's put himself in 4th, challenging Ruben. Now a 10th is the gap, and it has been consistently for like at least 2 laps. So one mistake out of the Dutchman, and the other Dutchman's gonna come flying past. I just realized they're both Dutch when I started the sentence. Damn it. Inside is covered, so Veltman will have to go the wide way. And that is always tough at the Nurburgring. Just covering that inside line early gives you such an advantage. And you need to have the massive overspeed on the straight to somehow be able to just steal it away from your competitor or catch them off guard.
And we also see Chris and George coming up to some blue flags. Chris was able to overtake him, but we have yet to see if he holds up George as well. It looks like he's able to slow down and let George by. So George is still all set to chase down Chris.
Yeah, nice work from Chikeka there. Yeah, completely followed the blue flag protocol. Didn't hold up our championship contestants at all. That's what we like to see. The gap for silver class is now 1.7 seconds. Last time I mentioned it was 2.4, and that was like barely 2 minutes ago. That gap is coming down, and if Kessel wins from Noppen and then Visser, I believe Kessel wins the championship. Let me actually check the Google Doc to make sure of that. Yes. So if Kessel wins and Urian finishes 3rd or lower, then it is Kessel's championship. That means that 77 Bentley is the one thing separating Bas Kessel from his silver class title. And nothing more, but I mean, I say nothing more as if it's nothing, but it's 6 minutes for an overtake at Nürburgring, along with a 1.5 second gap.
Yeah, and Kessel also has to worry about Visser on his butt too,
yeah.
Which he's not giving him any space at all.
Yeah, he's scary. He's glued to his gearbox, and he's probably filling 99% of the mirror of that Lexus with that big boy Bentley.
The gap ahead, though, the gap in front, George Brabner and Chris Wachowski, 2 seconds now, which is still 2 seconds. We have 6 minutes left in the race, but it is getting lower, so possibly George is getting his elbows out a little bit just for the end of the race.
Yeah, I still maintain what I said. I don't think he'll risk anything here, but he's still got the pace, and he's not coasting to the finishing line. Now we can see the gap, actually. It's 31 seconds, so the two are just the class of the field.
Mm-hmm.
It's not been like that most...
George could probably still pit for some tires if there was such thing as a fastest lap.
Well, not here, but in F1 he could.
Mm-hmm.
Pit stops take very long. Visser and Kessel and Noppen are now actually like in a full-on fight. The gap is 1 second between Noppen and Kessel. Noppen doesn't seem to have the pace towards the end of this. Kessel does have the pace, and Visser is just putting on the pressure, but Kessel has been dealing with it really well.
Definitely, as we reach 5 minutes left in this race, this is where everything is decided, especially Silver Class, which is, still, this is going to be a fight to the end. This is going to be something that we're going to be watching the entire time to see if anything crazy happens. And, they're just bumper to bumper right now on the start-finish straight into turn 1.
Yep. Something interesting about the top 2, I think the gap that they have to third, it just displays 2 things. Well, first of all, everyone behind had some sort of a problem because Ruben had that full-on spin and he's leading the pack. But then the second and main point is that I think like they just both completely ramped up their practicing efforts for this week. Normally they don't gap the field by half a minute. Like normally it's maybe 5 seconds or something. Ruben is most times actually just there with them. And, this is not normal. And I feel like they both just knew, okay, this is the championship. This one race is gonna decide whether the past 8 weeks of practicing have been worth it. So I'm gonna put in some overtime hours and, that is likely the result of it. That is why they are so fast.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially George has everything to lose in this race. And yeah, I would not be surprised if he put hours and hours into perfecting his racecraft for this track in order to make sure that he can not only get a good qualifying, but be consistent for the race itself as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we see Nico Veldman about a 10th behind Ruben coming down the straight. Not close enough for an overtake. Possible to outbrake. And he decides to tuck in behind him and to keep where he is right now.
Yeah, I wonder how much risk Nico's gonna put into this, because he hasn't had a podium in a while. I believe his last one was probably that win at Donington Park he got. And since then, I don't think he has had one. That might be wrong, but that's what I think off the top of my head. So this would likely mean a lot to him, but, the overtakes are tough. He's probably just gonna get like 2 more chances for it, as we are very close to the end of this race. And if he makes a mistake, he gets a penalty, he drops to 6th, or maybe worse. And how much is he willing to risk?
Definitely. He can be happy with where he is right now.
Wait, what? Noppen is behind Kessel since this lap. How has that happened? I'm actually going 30 seconds back to spot that, and I didn't spot it. Oh no. Must have been into turn 1. That's completely crazy. That means now Noppen basically just has to... Oh, Salmon got spun in the background. What was that? We're stuck in a replay. I'm sorry. I messed this up. We're just waiting for live feed. But yeah, so now the new situation is that Bas Kessel actually would win Silver Class ahead of Yuri and Visser. But if Visser gets past Noppen, then Visser is champion again, and we've got 1 lap to go as the leaders on the final lap. We're back with live field, sorry for that. The replay just hooks you and you can't ever get out after you press the button. And probably a final attempt from Veltman down the main straight in his yellow Mercedes. The gap is coming down, but the straight is coming to an end very soon. We're heading into the braking zone. The outside line for the race taxi. He squeezes towards the inside there, doesn't find the room, and Ruben parks it on the apex. Blocks the cutback, and then some door-to-door action there between them as they go head-to-head out of 1, and through the arena, I don't think the Mercedes is gonna come out on top. And for silver class, let's see what's happening there. Visser not able to do this on Noppen. Where are our race leaders? They are coming round for the final sector. Oh, and Ollie and Chris are fighting this out, and he's just... Chris has just been played like a fiddle by his brother. He's just set up for the perfect cutback, but let's watch the race finish of our championship contestants. We've got about 20 seconds to go. It is one corner.
And there's a back mark in between them too.
Yeah, and this is going to be a bittersweet victory for Chris. He's done a really, really good job today. He has beaten George once more, 3 full race distance wins in a row, but it is not going to be enough, as George Brabner is gonna put his name on the list of 2S ACC champions once more for the 2nd time running. He becomes our 2nd 2-time champion after Alexander Karsten with season 3 and 4, and that was well deserved. Class of the field, well done. But let's go to the action actually before we miss anything. Veltman is not gonna get this one done. The 3 of them are so close into the final corner, but Ruben likely is just gonna save this as Sam Chumley attempts to have a look at the outside, but yeah, it's Ruben in 3rd, Veltman in 4th, Samuel Chumley 5th, and then Andre Meclea finishes in a strong 6th. Out of Philip Ansel, who's 7th, Antoine Oliver is gonna come 8th. But what's going on in silver class? Oh my god, Ben Lewis, that is not the corner, and Bas Kessel is actually going to win the silver class championship since he somehow got past Ryan Noppen, and Noppen finishes 2nd. Visser is beaten by I think only a point in this, and he finishes 11th. Qualifying wasn't enough, but I'm sure he's gonna drive pro class next season, because he was in championship contention and he never drove qualifying except the last race.
We see Chris Stricker doing a little bit of weaving on the start-finish straight behind his brother Ollie. And now they are side by side as the styrofoam gets disintegrated and thrown in shards.
Yeah, and it all comes to an end. And what a season it was. Honestly, I'm gonna be like, okay, real talk, I have I'm very stressed with everything right now, and I thought, okay, commentating doesn't really have a place anymore, because I'm just so stressed every Monday, and then doing like this for 2 hours. I was honestly, I was looking to quit. I basically, for 2 seasons, I just kept being in chat like, I'm just doing it if you don't find anyone else. And but this season it has been so much fun. Even though the stress is back with the semester, I'm just looking forward to season 8. I wanna go.
Yeah, that was a great season and great battling from so many different people. And it wasn't just a repeat every single race. We did see multiple different winners, and we saw multiple different podiums throughout the entire season, and I thought that's just a really great thing to see.
Yeah, and it's also been a display of consistency as well for George. He has not won the most races here. He's actually only won a doubleheader, basically. He's won both Monza races. But apart from that, he has not won a single race. Chris has taken 4 race wins, George has taken 2, and they both only counted half. And still, George will come out on top in this championship because his worst finish was 3rd in Paul Ricard and Barcelona. Rest every time 2nd or 1st. It was just brilliant from him. And let's go. We've got this time I can't even read out the name on stream. We have to remove some messages once more. It's good that our loyal fans are showing up for the finale, consistently there when it matters. Oh man, well, that was great. Yeah, do you have any closing?
Just great job from George, great job from Chris, Ruben doing an amazing job as well, and silver class, competitive as always. That ending was incredible. Those guys were so close together, and yeah, just a great job. I was I'm wondering if we can
I will
hear from anybody.
I will get the replay for that on stream because I'm so annoyed at myself that I missed the overtake on the last lap there. That was very annoying. I'm just getting. Oh no, wait. Do I have it? Yes, automatically saved. Because we want to see what was the overtake between Noppen and Kessel. I hope I'm right with all the... I hope I am correct with all of the calculations that have been done beforehand. Thanks to Sam, by the way. He supplied us a huge Excel spreadsheet. Or, yeah, it was Excel. Spreadsheet with all of the potential scenarios. An absolutely massive thing. And, it was so easy. Normally I just have to do maths. And that's disgusting. And I didn't have to. So wait. Where is this? So here, Kessel is still behind Noppen. Let's see. It's just a clean move. I mean, there's nothing more to say about it. He just cleanly overtakes him. Must say the resistance put up by Noppen wasn't too big. Like he just probably thought the outside was gonna be enough, and then Kessel sends it, and that was that move done. But in the end, deserved championship there.
Yeah, by the time the move was already done, I think. But the time he noticed he was inside, the move was already done.
Yep, and honestly, I think that's probably a wrap. Or is there anything? I think that's a wrap. I'm just having a last look at chat. No, that's it, and that rounds out. Honestly, probably my favorite season of ACC so far. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate. Also, in big parts because I wasn't alone for it. So I want to thank you, of course, for being there every week and really helping out there. And it certainly upgraded the stream by a lot. And it was also impressive to see, considering it's your first full season of commentating anything. The improvement is great, and I hope that we can work in the future on that. So I want to thank you, and I want to thank all the viewers, all the drivers, all of the guys in the FIA. And the admin team, because they've done a brilliant job. I don't think there was a single race where the organization went completely sideways. It was all on point, and it's been incredible.
Yeah, and thank you again for having me on. This was an absolute blast, and it's not just racing; it's a community. It's the 2S community, and you guys are great, and this is so much fun to just. It's a little bit of work, but it's also just a blast to do. So thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching as well. This is just a great hobby to have, and some great racing today and this whole season.
Absolutely. And with that, actually, I'm just going to address what was said in chat earlier from the admin. The season 8 won't go ahead right away. We will instead, I think... it will go ahead. I can't talk anymore, it's been too long. It will go ahead in the next year, probably after Christmas, but we will be having a little bit of a mini-series in between, so I assume, if it's gonna run from now until Christmas, it's likely gonna be 4 rounds or something, so sounds spicy, and sign me up.
I wonder if Chris would want Chris Wikuski in the chat says interviews, and he is the race winner. If he wants, we could just do a little quick one.
Yeah, we can actually do that. Now I've done the well, no, is he in the interviews channel?
He is. He's in chat 4 right now.
Everyone is in the chat 4.
Yeah.
I would. I mean, he's on and off muted. I would just end it. Oh, sorry. Oh, never mind. He's saying interviews lookies. Oh, I thought you were just interpreting that. Never mind. My bad.
Oh no.
Okay, we're pulling him. Okay, he's here. Okay, I was misinterpreting things. Can you talk so I know the volume is fine?
Wait, yeah, now.
Okay.
You probably allowed me to do 100% as always.
Okay, so I mean, like that was a really impressive performance today from you and George. Like you hard gapped the field, but I really wonder, does this feel good because you've managed to win a 4th race this season? Like you've won half the races of the season, or does it feel a little bit hollow because you didn't manage to close out the championship in the end?
It feels super hollow because of the Alton Park at the beginning of the season, where I thought I have no chances for the championship, so I just fucking trolled that one. And yeah, ended up being really close at the end, so if I made this round better, I could probably win it. Not speaking of Laguna, because that would have been unfair, because George wasn't driving.
Yeah, it was. I did mention that like those first 2 weekends basically put you at the back foot massively. I mean, were you just getting to grips with the car still? I think you changed car.
Yeah, probably. That was probably it. And yeah, plus Alton Park is really a bad circuit for a Ferrari, so the combo of this and this made it bad results, I guess.
I mean, it's a really big shame. Do you think you'll be sticking with the Ferrari for next season?
No way, no way, no way, man.
What is so bad about it? Like, is it just too nervous, or what's bad about it?
This car is quick, but it's such a not a nice woman to drive, I would say. Like, it really wants to slide on you in every corner. The rear steps out a lot. I almost spun in Schumacher races like 5 times today.
Yeah. Your teammate did a perfect pirouette there.
Oh.
So that's the Ferrari striking, I guess.
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, do you have a favorite for a car that you might pick up?
I already know, but I'm not gonna leak it yet. But literally everyone who I'm speaking with about ACC and stuff like this knows which car am I gonna go for. And yeah.
Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to speak to you about ACC.
I mean, there's been a contract leaked in an ACC channel once.
Oh.
But that was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh well, then I think I even know it because I've seen
yeah.
I've seen the livery, but I'm not gonna say anything. So yeah, that sounds nice, and shout out to you, of course, for keeping the championship interesting to the end, and let's hope that in the next season you can not start out at Alton Park. That would be good, and then we might. And then you might enter the final race as the one with the high ground and not the position of George, where he just basically needed to finish second and he'd be fine. So yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for driving this season, and have a nice evening.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye. Okay. I think
Cool.
that's a wrap now.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
that good season. Good season.
Okay.
See you guys next season.
Everyone remembers the outro I did before this interview. Just imagine I'm saying it again.